Donald Trump's approach to China, especially his use of tariffs, was one of the most aggressive economic gambles in modern U.S. history, and today, the effects are still being felt. When Trump launched his trade war in 2018, he promised it would bring manufacturing jobs back to America, punish China for unfair trade practices, and strengthen the U.S. economy. But in reality, the tariffs ended up functioning more like a tax on American consumers and businesses, raising prices on everyday goods from electronics to clothing. American farmers, in particular, were hit hard when China retaliated by cutting back on agricultural imports, forcing the U.S. government to step in with billions in subsidies, essentially using taxpayer money to patch up a crisis Trump created. Even now, Trump continues to defend his tariff policies, suggesting that if he were to return to office, he would not only bring those tariffs back, but expand them. He's floated the idea of imposing a universal tariff on all imports, not just goods from China. Economists warn this would likely spark new trade wars, raise costs for American families, and make inflation even worse. What's especially concerning is that Trump's trade strategy has always been more about political headlines than sound economic policy. The Phase 1 trade deal, which he hailed as a major victory, failed to meet its targets, and China didn't buy nearly as much from the U.S. as promised. Trump's obsession with tariffs also ignored the reality of a globalized economy. Instead of rebuilding American industries, many companies shifted supply chains to other low-cost countries like Vietnam or Mexico, meaning the tariffs hurt American consumers without delivering the promised jobs. If Trump were to return to power and revive these same tactics, it could isolate the U.S. further on the global stage, trigger more market instability, and drag the country into a costly, self-inflicted economic slowdown. At the end of the day, Trump's tariff war against China was less about long-term strategy and more about short-term political wins. And as global competition grows, America needs thoughtful economic leadership, not the same old tariff threats that have already failed once before.